In this episode, I go off the woo-woo tracks a little bit to share with you a huge breakthrough that I had recently at a live event I was at. Now, I've had something that's been plaguing me over and over and over through the years, and I just couldn't crack the code on it until I got to experience what I experienced at this live event. So, this is going to be one episode you're going to want to listen to if you're ready to step up and to greatly understand how much influence you have over your life. So stay tuned. I'm Adam Kadu, and it's time to master the art of real heart alignment, where you live, work, and play from your personal power as energy aligns, your gifts flow, and life simply works. These life-changing conversations are designed to help you to see what you're not seeing, hear what you're not hearing, and to be who you're not being, as the world needs more heart-centered leaders now more than ever. Are you ready to say no to living a half-hearted life and say yes instead to boldly living from a place of real heart alignment? Welcome to the Adam Kadu podcast. Yo. Welcome back to the Adam Kadu podcast. In this episode, I'm going to share with you a little story about what happened to me at this live event I was at recently. So I've been going to James Wedmore's Business by Design live events for years and years and years. My very first live event that I went to of his was his very first BBD live, Business by Design live, in January of 2017. I just actually had some memories pop up on Facebook where I was on the plane and did a Facebook Live when I was there in 2017. So I got some good memories that kicked back from that. Now, through the years, I've been on a spiritual journey, like a lot of entrepreneurs. Running your own business is a great, I used to say the best form of personal growth and personal development. Now I say parenting is the best form of personal development. However, running your business, there's a lot of things that you discover about yourself and about this life around you. Now, I've been on this spiritual journey, like I said, and there's so many times where I'm at the cusp of just a huge spiritual breakthrough. And somehow, some way, like many times in life, like many of us experience, that damn analytical mind kicks in and just freaking ruins it. I got to actually spend time in 2018 with a mentor of mine, Don Javier, who's a shaman. And sitting with Don Javier in person, I had so much going on inside of my 3D body and also with my mind that was doing its best to keep me from a spiritual breakthrough. I had my body was kind of acting up. I had little aches and pains while sitting there. My mind was racing a little bit out of control. I was doing my best to quiet my mind and follow the practices that I share with others inside my Heart Center Selling Mastery program, because that's one key element to seeing more growth in your life and business is to quiet that damn chatter in your mind, remove the thoughts, remove the meaning, remove the baggage that you're carrying from all the things that did or did not happen in your life. And then sitting there having this spiritual awakening. I mean, I could feel myself just like going to new heights and new levels, spending time with Don Javier, because he is just so deep and profound. And it's not just about the analytical things he was saying, but he also works with energy while you're there with him. And so there was just so much that was happening with me, and my mind just wouldn't let me be at ease to the whole experience. And there's been other times, I've had Reiki where my body is fighting me as well. My mind is fighting me as well. There's some sort of doubt, hesitation, disbelief that goes on in these moments where I'm experiencing deep and profound transformation. And the same thing was happening at Business by Design Live. Now, James's significant other, Jen Finley, was running an exercise where she actually put us, in a meditative state, if you will, and asked us to bend a spoon with our minds. Yes, you heard that right. I actually did this exercise from my computer, watching a replay of a training that James and Jen did live for their Next Level community. I have access to that being a coach for James inside his Business by Design program. And I was in and out of it. I kind of, felt some things happening. when I was trying to do it myself over the computer, but I just, nothing really happened, right? I thought I kind of felt it bending. I thought I, might have opened my eyes and saw that it bent a little bit, but nothing happened. And so going into this, I had to do my work to wipe the slate clean. Because if I'm working from this belief of, oh, this doesn't work, or I wasn't able to do this, and if I'm holding on to that past baggage, which yet again, think of all the past baggage, your failed launches in business, or your failed conversations with a significant other, or you approached your children or kids or your boss or whoever in your life, your family in a certain way and didn't get the results you're after. A lot of times we carry that baggage with us. And then when we're in the moment and showing up and communicating and doing what we do, we are working from a lens of our past. And so we're showing up basically predicting the same thing will happen. And we're showing up in accordance with that. So it's so important to work from this place, as I call a powerful presence, being still in your mind, still in your body, an open heart, and working from this place of ground zero, your 0 point, finding your center. Because if we are worried about the future, or if we have baggage of the past, it's going to skew how we show up in this moment. And how we show up in this moment determines our future and the results we're after. So I got a chance to wipe the slate clean. And right before we got into this exercise, we had our spoons and we're all ready to go. The thought entered my mind, which I saw it clearly, that said, I hope this happens, so this will be a good story to share. And for me, it was like, boom, ego. I got to neutralize that or transmute that, change it into different energy right now. Because if I go into this exercise wanting to do this from a place of ego and, hey, look at me, I did it, or, oh, being fearful of, oh, what if I don't do it and everybody else does it? What will that say? What will that look like? When we work from these limited places, we're going to get limited results. So I wiped the slate clean. I did a great job of letting go of so much. And I even wrote that down in my journal to look at later. It's like, what was that about? Wanting to share this as a good story, right? So I could say, hey, look at me. I did it, right? I'm cool, right? Do you accept me now? Do you like me now? And so I let that go. And so in this exercise, there was, and it's kind of fun. She did this whole bit beforehand. She even showed us on the movie The Matrix, where this kid was actually bending a spoon with his mind. We actually use our bodies and our thumbs and our mind, and I'll explain that in a minute. But the kid was actually holding the spoon and bent the spoon. And he basically was like, you don't bend the spoon, you become the spoon, and you bend yourself, because we are all one and the same. And there's some depth there, and sit with that a little bit. And so you are connecting, and you're actually, I went off the woo-woo trails with this, but you actually can get to this place, or this was my experience, where I got so present that I couldn't tell the difference between the spoon, or actually the atoms inside the spoon, and myself. That's the level of depth that I went to. And so I'm in this exercise. And at first I'm like actually putting pressure on the spoon and it's not bending. My hand is hurting. And I'm like, well, this isn't the way. I'm not going to like have my hand hurting and bend the spoon, which it was like hard to bend, like no doubt about it. I've got this spoon right here. And it's like it's like hard to bend. I'm putting some pretty good force on it. So, and as you can see, I giving it away. Darn it. Didn't mean to do that, but, and obviously if you're listening to the podcast, you can't see this, but you can watch over on YouTube. But it happened. I bent the spoon. But what was going through my mind was I was putting force with my hand, and my hand was hurting. And I got to this point where I was like, this isn't working. So I just stayed with it. And I used all that I know and all that I teach about being present, because there was people that were like, crying and people are moving around and shifting in their seats, or just like things that were distracting me. Yet again, back to talking about my time with DX, is like this distractions in my body and my mind. It was taking me out of the game. It was taking me out of the moment. And so I just dug a little bit deeper, got a little bit more present. And I actually felt it bend. Like in my mind, I could feel that it's bending, and I'm not even putting any force on it. It's bending. And I'm like, I'm like there, and I'm just like so thrilled. And then I was like, wait a minute. I don't think it's actually bent. But I knew I had got there, right? There was some connection. I like went to this different place and I could feel it moving. I could feel it shifting its shape. And so I look up, I open my eyes, and the spoon is flat. It did not bend an inch. But for me, I freaking got there. I knew it. It's almost like when you just like know something, this inner knowing. I was like, it's there. I was moving it like I was one with the spoon. I'm getting chills talking about it. And then I was just so joyful. I was at peace. I was happy. I didn't need to bend the spoon for my ego or anything. I had bent it in my mind, and it doesn't matter what other people think when I say that and I show my spoon it hasn't bent at all. It did not matter. Nothing mattered. And I was so freaking elated. I was so happy, even though my spoon didn't bend. And I was at peace and I was done, right? I was done. And then Jen turned on some music. What is the name of that song? I feel like I've got to find it. Oh man, I'm unstoppable, right? Stoppable. I'm a Porsche with no brakes. I'm so confident. And it was just like, I have been so connected with music lately. My son actually gave me a fortune cookie. I've got like a canister thing of fortune cookies, and he got one out and he's like, this is for you, Dad. And it basically was like, music is such a huge integral part of your life. And it has been, but I've lost track of it. So since that day, that was months ago, I've been just like working with music on. And, if I'm in a funk or whatever, I'll throw some music on in the house, and it's just like, boom, I'm home. I'm in my center. It brings me there. So she turned on this music, right? And I was just like, hey, I was feeling it. I was jamming, kind of moving around a little bit. I was like, I'll give it one more try. And I grabbed this spoon, and this spoon was just like butter. I'm getting chills talking about it. It just, and literally like, I barely put any pressure on it, and it's just bending, and it's like, it's bending, leading me. Like I'm not bending it. It was bending before I was putting pressure on it. Like it was the wildest thing. And it was just going, and it's just bending. And I bent that thing, and it was like the song was starting to run out a little bit. And I was like, I just, I wanted to just have this spoon and like loops and all this stuff. But I just had this moment. I was like, I did it. And not I did it, because we also had this conversation beforehand of like, inside the, I'm just getting lit up with chills. Hopefully this is landing with you a little bit, and I'll share why this is so important in a second. So we had the conversation, and Jen was leading the exercise, even said, just like connect and wish the best for the people around you. So we were all wishing the best for each other. And I really felt like there was some higher force, some higher energy that was guiding and working through me. So this wasn't me, Adam Kadu, bent this spoon. There was so much energy, so much love, so much caringness in this event, in this room, that the spoon bent. And I started crying. And I'm just like having this moment, and I stand up, and I'm just like, just feeling so alive. And the reason this was so impactful and important for me was because that damn analytical mind kicks in at these moments where I'm experiencing such a spiritual shift, a spiritual breakthrough. And the analytical mind kicks in, and it freaking ruins it for me. And it's so good at taking me out and just planting one little seed of doubt. Oh, even like the law of attraction, I'm like, I know, like in my heart and my knowing, the law of attraction is real. And yes, there's science and there's things to back it up and all this, but my analytical mind is still like, what? Like vibration and frequency and all this. And I'm like, I've geeked out on quantum physics. We've got enough knowledge, right? There's a difference between knowledge and knowing, but I've got enough knowledge in my mind to say, yes, this is accurate. This really does work. But my analytical mind is still, I don't know. But what happened in that moment where the spoon bent, this I can't even explain it, this depth that I went to of being so connected with the spoon that I couldn't even tell the difference between myself and the spoon. I was inside that spoon, as weird and as wacky as it says. And no drugs were taken. And no, they didn't fill the room with some wacky gas or anything like that. It was a real experience, a real deal. And now I have crystal clear proof of this energetic spiritual world we're living in. Anytime my mind tries to take me out of it, my answer is, I bent the spoon. I bent the spoon. There's no denying the experience that I had. There's no denying it. I know in every cell in my body what happened there. And there's no need for myself to talk myself out of the spiritual growth and these spiritual moments that I find myself in, where for whatever reason, even though I practice and I work and I have exercises and techniques that allows me to get to a deep level of powerful presence, yet again, what I teach in my Heart Center Selling Mastery program, because you've got to be present when you're selling or presenting offers. If you're not, people are going to pick up on the weird energy you're putting out. And now I know without a shadow of a doubt, two things. One, the energy world we're living in is so freaking real. And two, with the help of the energy around me, of other people, we can move mountains. We can do things that our analytical mind just cannot comprehend. And if you ever have the opportunity to do a spoon bending exercise, or, it's one of those things that I'm not sure if you could just watch a YouTube video about it and get there. You can 100%. But if you ever have a chance to do it in person, I would wholeheartedly recommend it. Because even if you don't feel this bend the spoon, if you get there in your mind and you feel it bending, that tells you so freaking much. It's like I went to a quantum level, craziest thing. And I didn't even need, ayahuasca or magic mushrooms or anything like that. It was a profound experience that I know will last a lifetime with me. And I've got my spoon here on my desk, reminding me every single day, you bent the spoon. And we are capable of so much more when we can let go, when we can be present, when we can be in our center, when we can be whole and grounded, when we can let go of the need to know why and to figure it out and have all the analytical stuff getting in the way, and just work from this place of knowing and trusting yourself. I've gotten so good over the years of getting to that point, but I just couldn't get over the hump. And I got there. And so my invitation to you is to continue to play the edges a little bit of what we think is reality versus what you know in your heart is possible for you. Leave room for magic. Because there's so much goodness, so much richness, so much abundance, so much joy and happiness in this world we're living in. But we got so much crap, so much baggage that we're carrying from the past, so much fear about the future, so much fear around us with all the news and everybody talking about this and that and the other thing. It's designed to keep you busy, to keep you distracted. But if you're doing your practices, if you're connecting deep with yourself, with source, with others, in your meditations, if you will, or just in being present, because there's a difference between meditating for 10, 15 minutes a day versus living in a meditative state. And I found myself at one point being there in a meditative state. And then life, if you will, or myself pulled me out. And now I'm back. So more to come on this. This is an opportunity for you to let go of the things that you think you know in life. Because when we can wipe the slate clean and to be present and to be whole and to be grounded and to be in our center, to feel the power inside of you and around you and working through you, all of a sudden life opens up more and more and more. You start to see new opportunities. You start to feel into possibilities. You start to know yourself better and you start to take action. And sometimes it's the littlest action that will give you the belief or the meaning to blaze your trail forward with a new life, with a new gusto, with moxie, with courage. And sometimes we just need that 1 ounce of proof that wasn't there before. But you're not going to get there if you're not trying and testing new things and if you're not taking action. So that's all I've got today. Going off the woo-woo trails, talking about bending a spoon. And yes, I'm a big, strong dude, but I'm telling you, there was a big difference between bending that spoon as Adam versus getting inside the atoms of the spoon and bending from there. And I'm telling you, I wish I could put into words the experience, but you're just going to have to try it for yourself. So, much love. Trust yourself. Trust the guidance that is all around you. Trust the energy that's moving through you. And continue to get out of your own way, because that is the work. To let go of what you need to let go of. To break the mold of the mental construct you've built of what you think life is. Because there's so much more for you at your fingertips right here and right now. So that's it for this episode. Thank you so much for listening. And until next time, go all in with your heart, caring deeply for yourself, caring deeply for those in your life, caring deeply for the people you're here to help and impact. Because the world needs heart-centered leaders now more than ever. Much love to you and yours. Keep up the good work. We're all in this together. So as always, let me know how else I can help. And stay tuned for more episodes of the Adam Could Do podcast. Talk to you soon. Thank you for listening to another episode of the Adam Could Do podcast. If you would, take a moment to subscribe and click the bell icon so that way you get notified when future episodes air. Now here's the thing. If you are looking for the show notes, you can find a link to those below. If you're looking for the handles of the guests that I've been interviewing, things of that nature, you'll find that here. And if there's anything else that stood out to you in the episode, or if there's anything I can do for you, please leave a comment below, or for sure message me on Instagram if you'd like, as I'm always looking to hear what's working well for you and what caught your interest about the Adam Could Do podcast. So, time to go, time to change the world, time to help more people. Are you ready? Let's go do this thing. The world needs more leaders. So thanks again for listening to the Adam Could Do podcast.